A shareholder of a company can enter into a contract with a company because it is a separate legal entity from its shareholder was held in Ashby Railway Carriage and Iron Company versus Rick Allard. How much amount of profits of company can be distributed and divided among its shareholder? No fixed. The capital with which a company is registered is called authorized capital. In which one of the following cases the court cannot order rectification of instrument where the instrument is the article of association of a company? Article of association is a concept in Companies Act. Which one of the following is true about an incorporated company? As such, it never dies. Article of association are not to be registered in case of a public company limited by share. Which one of the following statement is not correct? B is not correct. Which one is correct? A company cannot have more than one manager at the same time. A firm cannot be appointed as a manager of the company. A manager can be appointed for a period of 5 years at a time. A director appointed to fill up casual vacancy will hold office up to date of expiry of term of office of outgoing director. According to the New Companies Act 2013, what is the minimum number of persons required to form a private limited company? 2. In case of private company, as per section 268 of Companies Act 2013, what is the minimum paid up capital? 1 lakh rupees. The statutory formulation of directors' duties under Companies Act 2013 has been split out in Section 166. The first annual general meeting of company must be held within 9 months from the date of closing of the first financial year. Which among the following remedies is available for a person who acted upon false prospectus? All of these: damages for fraudulent misrepresentation, compensation for untrue statement, damages for non-compliances with the requirement of Section 26 of Companies Act 2013. Under Companies Act, every person subscribing to the memorandum of the company must take at least 1 share. An application for prevention of operation and mismanagement in companies should be made to the National Company Law Tribunal. It deals with the internal management and affairs of the company. article of association. To safeguard the interest of shareholder through classes action suits, an application may be made to the tribunal. Which one of the following is wrong? An application, C is wrong. Which one is right? To restrain the company from committing an act which is ultra vires of article or memorandum. To restrain the company from committing a breach of any provision of company's memorandum and articles. C is wrong. To restrain the company and its director from acting on a resolution obtained by misrepresentation of the member or depositor. Which section of the Companies Act 2013 deal with the corporate social responsibility? Section 135. Who is authorized to issue license? 2. Section 8. Company under Companies Act 2013. Regional Director. The provision of Companies Act 2013 relating to application to tribunal for prevention of operation and mismanagement contained in Section 241. A company shall be deemed to be unable to pay its debt all of the above if the company has failed to pay sum within 21 days after the receipt of such demand, if the execution process issue a decree in favor of the creditor returned unsatisfied, if it is proved to be satisfaction of the tribunal that company is unable to pay debt, the minimum number of persons required to incorporate a public company is 7. A private company can commence business as soon as it receives certification of incorporation. Which among the following is regarded as the most important document of the company? Memorandum of Association. What is the appellate authority for order against National Company Law Appellate Tribunal? Supreme Court. Under which provision of the Companies Act 2013 will member will be liable for reduction of statutory minimum number of members in the company? Section 3A. Which one of the following statements is correct? Answer using code given below. Only D is correct. Doctrine of indoor management does not apply if the act of an officer of the company is one which would ordinarily be beyond the power of such officer. Which one of the following is incorrect? Any misrepresentation made in prospectus would be attract the liability of the following person under the Companies Act. D is wrong. Every person who is a director of the company at the time of issue of prospectus, right? Every person who has authorized himself to be named and is named in the prospectus, either as a director or as having agreed to become director, either immediately or after interval of time, correct, every person who is a promoter of the company. Which one of the following action can be taken when an issue is made under the provision of Section 42 of Companies Act 2013? The offer can be made to the maximum 50 people. In which one of the following case the doctrine of endeavour management was laid down? Royal British Bank versus Truckand. Trunkard. In what way the doctrine of ultra virus is applied to the companies? The activities should be confined within the object as specified in Memorandum of Association. In which one of the following case corporate will of a company has not been lifted up by the court? D. In which corporate is lifted up? Guilford Motor Company Limited versus Horney, Dalimer Company Limited versus Continental Tire and Rubber Company Limited, Dinshaw Manigji Pittitry. Which two type of business structure are created via the process of incorporation? Companies and limited liability partnership. The central government has been empowered to conduct investigation into the affair of company under Section 210 of the Companies Act 2013. All on the report of registrar of the company in public interest, on passing of a special resolution, on order of the court or tribunal. Liability of director of public company is toward shareholder of the company. The proper authority for convening a general meeting of company is the board of directors. Which one of the following case is above is about the doctrine of ultra virus? Attorney General versus Great Eastern Railway Company. A foreign company intended to merge with Indian company as per the relevant provision in the company compromises, arrangements and amalgamation rule 2016. It need to obtain a prior approval of Reserve Bank of India. Which of the following is the most essential for the company? Certificate of incorporation. For dissolution of a company, the tribunal shall pass order when affairs of a company are completely wound up. Article of company can be altered by shareholder by passing a special resolution. Companies Act 2013 has provided that the listed company appointment and independent directors is mandatory, and the independent director will be appointed from the data bank maintained for this purpose. On incorporation of a company, the registrar of company in addition to certificate of incorporation, issue a unique identification number, namely corporate identification number. Under the Companies Act 2013, a private company can borrow fund for its financial needs. Directors, bank and financial institution. Financial needs from director, banks and financial institution. A public company can borrow after obtaining certificate of commencement of business. A public company can be converted into private company only after approval of regional director. The Companies Act 2013 has been done a tremendous job by providing companies social responsibility CSR as mandatory activity. A company has to comply with mandatory CSR norms where the turnover of a company is 1000 crore or more. Minimum number of members required to apply for incorporation certificate. A public company is public limited company is 7. A prospectus which does not include complete particulars of the quantum or price of the securities including therein is known as red herring prospectus. Where there is no profit in 1 year or the profit of company is not enough to pay the fixed dividend on preference share, the areas of dividend are be carried forward and paid before a dividend is paid on ordinary shares. This is called cumulative preference share. Minimum number of members for private company and for public company is respectively 2 and 7. Miscellaneous. Starex Limited has the paid up equity capital structure in the following proportion: central government 38%, state government 10%, subsidiary of a company 17.50%, and the remaining share is retail shareholder. Which one of the following classes of company it belong to? गवर्नमेंट कंपनी जिसका सबसे ज्यादा शेयर. Director are the agent of the company. In which one of the following case above principle was laid down? Answer using code. D. Ferguson versus Wilson, Elkington versus Elkington and Company versus Harter Hempstead Land Company, Re Allen versus Hattie. Contract made after incorporation of public company but before using certificate of commencement of the business are provisional contracts. Which one of the following services cannot be provided to the company by an auditor appointed under the provision of Companies Act 2013? Internal audit. Which one of the following company will have to constitute corporate social responsibility committee under Companies Act 2013? A company having a net profit of 5 crore or more, or net worth of 500 crore, and a turnover of rupees 1000 crore or more. How is the net worth of foreign company calculated for the purpose of corporate social responsibility? It shall be calculated as per section 197 and 381 of Companies Act 2013. Which of the following action can be taken by registrar under section 4 subsection 5 of Companies Act 2013? Take action for striking of the name of company from registrar of the companies. According to section 2 subsection 45 of the Companies Act as amended in 1974, company secretary must possess the qualification prescribed from time to time by the registrar of the company. Producer company is based on the principle of mutual assistance. Company is a separate legal entity. It was laid down in Solomon versus Solomon Company case, with which topic the case of Erlanger versus New Sombreau Phosphate Company is related to the company law. Promoters. Memorandum of the company under the company law is like a constitution. Asbury Railway Carriage and Iron Company versus Ritchie is the case which is related with which topic of the company law? Doctrine of ultravirus. Director of companies are trustee of the company. Which one of the following is a primary source of equity? Conscience. In the conflict between equity on one hand and the text of law on the other hand, court shall choose law. Equality means proportional equality. No person can hold the office of the director in more than 10 public companies at a time. Which among the following authorities is vested with the power to investigate on the matter of professional misconduct committed by the chartered accountant or chartered accountants firm under section 132 of Companies Act 2013? National Finance Reporting Authority. Find answer by using codes given below. Director may be removed by C and D. C. Central government. D. Shareholder in general meeting. Read assertion and reason. Under the company's law, though any outsider is presumed to be aware of documents which is public accessible, but not internal proceeding of which he cannot reasonably aware because those are not accessible to the public. Reason. The doctrine of indoor management evolved as a practical exception of doctrine of constructive notice. The rule was laid down in the case of Royal British Bank versus Turkund. A. Match Royal British Bank versus Turkund. Indoor management. Solomon versus Solomon. Corporate personality. Foss versus Harbottle. Rule of majority. Astbury Railway Carriage and Iron Company Limited versus Ritchie. Doctrine of ultravirus. What do you mean by pursuit? Authorizing the formation of corporation for the purpose of engaging in any lawful enterprises, business. Pursuit or occupation is not restricted in the meaning of a scheme for making money, but include any object consist with the interest of the society. What is the maximum number of partner in banking business? 10. A company having paid up share capital for rupees 10 lakh or more is required to submit a certificate to registrar of a companies. This certificate is called compliance certificate. By whom this certificate is issued? Company secretary. Which one of the following activities cannot be considered as relating to social responsibility under section 135 of Companies Act? All above. Amount is spent on activity which only benefit the employee of the company. Amount is spent to the benefit people who is not economically backward. Amount is spent on activity which only benefit to consumer of the organization. Amount is spent on the activity which only benefit the supplier of the organization.